In this video, we're going to be looking at equality, relational, and logical operators used with conditional expressions. Let's get to it. Okay, so this is still the GUI from the last video. In the last video, we looked at if statements and nested if statements. And above here, I commented in some of the logical operators we will be using. We have our greater, smaller, greater or equal, smaller or equal. These two pipes are called an OR. So or this statement needs to be true. The double ampersand is called an AND. This means that both statements need to be true. Equal. The exclamation marks means not, so if it's not true. And our div element asterisk is times, our plus minus, our modulator, and the exclamation equals mark means it's not equal to. Okay, so let's get rid of these code. I'm still going to use the age as input, but now I want to check if the age, let's comment this in, if the age must be greater than 18, age must be smaller than 60, and the age, can't be smaller than 18. Or equal, I don't want it equal to 60, it should be less than 60. Okay, so let's test for all three of these cases. So if you look at the three cases, age must be greater or equal than 18, smaller than 60, and smaller than 18. So first, let's go with, we're going to have two expressions in one if statement. So let's say if age is greater or equal than 18, and like I said here at the top, the double ampersand means and the age is smaller than 16. So what this ampersand means is that both of these conditions, both of these statements need to be true in order for the if to execute. Okay, otherwise it needs to go to its if else. So we go to label text equals, this one is valid, but let's test for something else. So we can say else. Now we want to know if it's not valid, what is the age? Is the age too large or is the age too small? So here's where an else if comes in. So you can put an if right next to an else, and so it's not needed for you to go with the else and then an if inside that else as well, if you understand what I mean. So you can just say else if, and then again, okay, but what is the age then? Is the age now larger or equal than 18? If it is, label output.text equals is above or equal to 18, but not valid. Okay, because this can be 65. The age we enter can be 65, but we don't want 65, we want less than 60. Okay, so first statement, if the age is between 18 and 60, print this. Else, if the age is above 18, print that. Else, if age is is smaller than 18, we need to say, copy this, the age is smaller than 18 and not valid. Okay, so we need one more. I think it's one more. So now we can choose if you want an if statement again or just a normal else. So let's do a normal else, because if you think about it, I'm testing whether it is between 18 or 60, and I'm testing if it's above 18 or smaller than 18. So if it's not one of these three statements, it is going to be bigger than 60. Well, let's see if my math works. The age is above 60 and not valid. Okay, so let's go through this quickly again. We have both of these statements need to be true before executing this line. if it's not true, else if test if that is true, else test if that is true, or else if none of these are true, execute this statement. Let's start and see what happens. Okay, so let's input 20. This one is valid because why? It is between 18 and 60. Let's type in 15. The age is smaller than 18. Oops. And not valid. Okay, why? Because it went to that if statement, says no, it's not that one, it's not that one, it is this one. I say smaller is not spelled correctly. It is smaller than it. Let's type in 66. The age is above or equal to 18, but not valid. Okay, so actually this one is redundant code if I think about it, because now you're never going to get to this else statement. Okay, so that is a bit of a logical error on my side. This statement is not needed because I actually tested over here. Okay, so we're never going to get to this statement, because if I type in 100 or 101, it's going to stop at this statement and say, whoa, it's not going to be there. The age is above 18 but not valid. So we can actually just copy this one, put it in this statement, and just delete this else if statement. Bit of redundancy on my side. Okay, so now let's put in 66 again. The age is above or equal to 18 but not valid, because it's not smaller and it's not between those two. If we type in 50, it should say this one is valid, and if we type in at 10, it should say it's smaller than 18 and not valid. Sure, look at my spelling over there. Okay, now let's use an OR instead of the ampersand. Okay, but I'm still going to leave this else if statement. I'm just going to put in another if else statement here, if else. So what can we do? Let's say if the age is equal, no, it's not equal to 18, or the two pipes is called an or the age is not equal to 60. Okay, oops. Oh, sorry, that should be else if. Copy and pasting saves some time. Okay, so what's the message we should display if the age is not equal to 18 or it's not equal to 60? Okay, so the age is not equal to the parameters. Okay, what I mean about that, it's not equal to the 18 and the 16 we specified here at the top, as well as these. Okay, so it's not equal to the borders. It's not equal to the borders. Okay, 18 and 60, so it's not between that. So actually we can then remove this equal sign, because I'm testing whether or not it's equal to this one. I think I need, yeah, okay, no, it's fine, let's try it like that. But I wonder if you guys can see the problem I'm going to have. But let's type in input box of 17. Okay, that's not going to be valid. Let's do 20. This one is valid. Oh, yeah. 66. This age is not equal to the parameters, because actually that else statement, that if statement is not going to work. But we can try not to make it a not. We can just make it, just stop debugging. Let's make it an equal sign. So it's going to test if it's greater or smaller than 60, and then it's going to test, well, if it is 18 or 60 and the age is equal to the parameters. And then it's going to test else if, and if it's smaller than 18, and then an else. 66. The age is above or equal to 18 but still not valid. Let's type in 60. The age is equal to the parameters. Okay, so You can use a lot of the operators combined. You can have many OR statements and AND statements. Your line can stretch very far away. So that's just a quick one I wanted to show you about else if and how you can use it with the logical operators.